You know, we call our home planet Earth, but when you really think about it, that name doesn't quite fit, does it? One look from space tells you the real story. We live on an ocean world, and today we're going to dive deep into that vast, mysterious, and, as we'll see, increasingly important part of our planet.
70%. Just let that number sink in for a second. That's how much of our world is covered by the ocean. It's not just a big body of water. It's our planet's blue heart, the single largest living space we have. And it's the engine that drives our entire climate.
So that begs a pretty simple question, right? We've sent rovers to Mars and probes past Pluto. But what about the world that's right here, just beneath the waves? How much of it have we actually laid eyes on?
Yeah, that's the answer. And it's pretty shocking. Less than 1,000th of 1%. That's how much of the deep ocean floor we've actually visually explored. It's an area roughly the size of Rhode Island. It just goes to show the greatest mysteries on Earth aren't in some lost jungle. They're in the pitch-black, crushing depths right in our own backyard.
Okay, so to really get this, let's get our bearings first. You have to understand, the ocean isn't just one giant bathtub. It's this incredibly complex system of interconnected basins, and each one has its own unique story, its own personality. I mean, just look at the Pacific. Its sheer scale is absolutely staggering. It's the biggest and the oldest of all of them, covering 45% of the entire global ocean. It literally dominates the map. And that brings us to this wild irony of our time. Even with all our amazing technology, we've managed to map about 27% of the seafloor with high-resolution sonar, but that means most of it is a total blank. We literally have better, more detailed maps of the surface of Mars and Venus than we do for the majority of our own planet. It's kind of mind-boggling.
So the geography is one thing. But the ocean isn't just sitting there. No way. It's a dynamic, churning, powerful engine that controls our weather in ways we're really only just beginning to understand.
And it all starts with something simple: salt. See, there's this fundamental difference between the two biggest oceans. The Atlantic, it's way saltier. Why? Well, think of the winds acting like a giant straw. They suck freshwater vapor up from the Atlantic and then dump it as rain over the Pacific. That leaves the Atlantic saltier. And because of that, its water is denser.
And that density difference is what powers the AMOC. It's basically a massive global conveyor belt. That cold, super salty water up in the North Atlantic gets so dense that it actually sinks, plunging down to the abyss. And that sinking motion pulls warmer surface water north to replace it, releasing a tremendous amount of heat. It keeps places like London from having winters like Siberia.
But here's the really scary part. Recent findings, I'm talking from 2024 and 2025, they confirm this engine is slowing down. All the fresh meltwater pouring off of Greenland is making the surface water less salty, less dense, and it's messing up that critical sinking process. A collapse of this system isn't just some theory anymore. It's a very real risk that scientists are taking very, very seriously.
Okay, let's leave the surface currents and the climate behind for a minute. We're going down. We are descending into a world of eternal night, unbelievable pressure, and life forms that honestly look like they came straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Think of this chart as our elevator. We start up top in the epipelagic, the sunlit zone where most of the life we know lives. Then we sink down into the mesopelagic, that's the twilight zone. Below that, it's total darkness in the bathypelagic or midnight zone. And if we keep going, we hit the abyssal and adal zones, home to the deepest, most extreme trenches on the entire planet.
Let's just pause right here, in the twilight zone, because as the sunlight fades away, a whole new language takes over: bioluminescence. It's incredible. Something like 90% of the animals here make their own light. They use it for everything: for camouflage, for finding a mate, for luring in their next meal. It's a world that communicates in flashes and glows.
And because we've seen so little of it, we're constantly finding life that is just bizarre. The Ocean Census Initiative has been on a roll. Just in the last year or so, they found carnivorous sponges that trap their prey, these zombie worms that eat bones, parasites that look like popcorn, and even a brand new species that's some kind of hybrid between a shark and a ray. It's a whole new world.
But this incredible, unexplored world is now colliding head-on with human ambition. We are shifting gears from pure exploration to exploitation, and right now the deep sea floor is the setting for a 21st century gold rush, and it's creating geopolitical tensions that are frankly boiling over as we speak.
And things are escalating fast. We're talking just in the last few months of 2025.
The US put out an order to fast-track mining. Then, the international body that's supposed to regulate all this failed to agree on the rules. And now, the very first application to actually start mining is expected any day now. It's become a high-stakes standoff in the abyss.
And then, in July of 2024, a discovery came out of nowhere that changes everything. Scientists found that the very same metallic nodules the miners are trying to collect are actually generating oxygen. In total darkness, they act like little natural geobatteries, creating a tiny electrical current that splits water molecules. They're calling it dark oxygen.
I mean, just stop and think about what this means. We just found out that entire deep-sea ecosystems might be breathing air that's being produced by the rocks themselves. And the plan is to scrape those very rocks off the seafloor. Mining could literally suffocate entire habitats that we didn't even know could exist until a few months ago.
All of this brings our journey right back to the surface and right back to us. As we stand on the edge of this new frontier, it really forces us to take a hard look at our current relationship with the ocean and the huge choices that are right in front of us.
I mean, just look at our fisheries. They provide the main source of protein for more than 3 billion people. Yet, as you can see, over a third of all fish stocks are already overfished. We're pushing this absolutely vital resource to its breaking point.
And it's not just about what we take out. It's about what we put in. All the constant noise from shipping, from sonar, from construction, it's created this thick acoustic smog underwater. For an animal like a whale, which sees and talks with sound, this is like trying to live your life in a permanent, blinding fog.
And get this, we're not just passing through anymore. We are literally on the verge of moving in. You've got projects like Proteus, which is being called the International Space Station of the Sea, and Deep's Modular Habitats. Both are planning to establish a permanent human presence on the seafloor by 2027.
So that leaves us with this final, massive question. We're standing at the doorway to the last great frontier on our own planet. As we unlock its secrets, as we tap its resources, and as we even prepare to live there, what's our legacy going to be? Are we going to learn from all the mistakes we've made on land and become true guardians of this unseen world? Or are we just going to become the ghosts of another paradise lost?